Today we are interviewing Executive Director Naomi Fleschhut and musician Avery Florence from the Jellyfish Project. So the Jellyfish Project combines the power of live music with engaging presentations and thought-provoking resources to educate youth about climate change. And we are filming this podcast episode today on April 22nd, which is Earth Day. So we just wanted to say Happy Earth Day to everybody.
Happy Earth Day, everyone. And please get out there and enjoy some time in nature, because when you love nature, when you have that heartfelt connection with it, we know that we protect what we love. So get out there and enjoy and love nature.
Avery is lucky to be enjoying nature right now outside in a beautiful park. Such a fitting location for this interview.
Well, I just did a big performance at one of the schools, so my dog was at home. So I wanted us to both be enjoying Earth Day together.
Can you tell our Prologue audience a little more about the organization? What is your mission, and how are you using music to support it?
So the Jellyfish Project has been around for 15 years, and we were started actually by a young set of musicians in a band called Mindle Beach. They were touring around and having, a great time performing for audiences, and they felt like they wanted to give back. And they were also recognizing, at the time, overfishing, the plastic pollution crisis, and, 15 years ago, people were becoming more and more aware of the impacts of climate change. The lead singer in the band, Daniel Kingsbury, he's really the driving force behind the establishment of the Jellyfish Project, and he actually went down to the States and took the climate reality training, and it just really kind of opened his eyes up to the nature, sort of the urgency of this crisis. And when he was talking with his bandmates, they really recognized that they have this privilege of being up in front of audiences of all ages and having this great, relationship that artists have with their audiences, and felt like they should use their platform and the privilege of being able to speak to mass amounts of people to just share little messages, just little bits of encouragement about what we can do to, heal the planet, heal our relationship with the planet, and build a brighter future.
Now you're sort of spreading this across the whole country, so that's really awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, we've toured before. We're mostly based out of British Columbia, but right now we're recruiting musicians from across Canada, and so we're really looking forward to making sure that any student at any school across Canada can have access to this really powerful way of talking about the environment by mixing it in with music and celebration and hope.
How did the Jellyfish Project get its name?
Yeah.
50 billion tons of gas emissions that we've released into the atmosphere. 30% of that is absorbed by the ocean, just changing the ocean's temperature and the acidity. And because of that's actually allowing some species of jellyfish to thrive. And it's not that jellyfish are bad. One of the kids asked that. Everything is part of the ecosystem, but they're showing us with their population exploding that things are out of balance. So they're an indicator. So we feel like as Jellyfish Project, we're coming and we're also indicating, we're sharing this message that things are out of balance.
And they are beautiful creatures, so it makes for some beautiful imagery as well.
So I guess this is a question that maybe you can both answer, because you might have different ideas around it. Mm-hmm. Why do you think music is such a great way to share this message and reach young people?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, this was a very intentional strategy on the part of the Jellyfish Project, because it can be really scary or overwhelming or polarizing even to talk about our environmental crisis and our climate crisis. And so, on the one hand, music and art, especially music, they have gone hand in hand with social change throughout history. Music has always been used throughout the movements in the past to really help kind of energize, motivate people, lift up their spirits, and also communicate about some of the most urgent problems of our time. So Avery, we were so happy to begin working with her because her music already carries a lot of that sometimes message. It can be scary, sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming. We feel like we sort of soften and almost like excite the audiences to the message by, bringing that music in, showing them young musicians who are just doing their thing and rocking out, but also, they really care about the environment and they're using their time and energy to share that message. So it's really good modeling for kids to see, like, you can use your skills, your art in any way to help contribute to a better world. You don't have to be, as we always say in the presentation, you don't have to be a scientist, you don't have to be an activist. Here we have all these phenomenal musicians who are up there sharing the message. So those are kind of some of the reasons, and mostly because it's just really fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, performing arts is such a great way to tackle all kinds of topics. So that's really cool. Avery, did you
Yeah.
want to add to that at all?
Yeah, well, I think what Naomi said too about just like it is a hard message, some of it. So to have the music as sort of is there as like a supportive feeling to be connected with it, to also because we want to inspire kids like to be part of the movement. And it is such a like an adventure to be part of as well. Like the community you meet. And for me, I guess like music is such a quick way into people's hearts. And I feel like that's like the main thing that we all really need to like bring forward is like our hearts. We know what is right in our hearts, and like that's what makes us feel compassionate to other people, to other animals, to other living beings, and to the earth itself. So it just softens people and like disarms people so that they can open up. Like we have conversations with the audience throughout the presentation too. And then they get so excited about the music.
I'll jump in and say, like, often some of these kids come up and say, like, we're starting a band too, and they get so excited and they're asking Avery questions about, like, how she does this or when did she start singing. And so I think it's really nice for them to have, someone who is not that much older than them and they can kind of relate to, and then be like, oh yeah, it's an inspiration to see like they can be doing all kinds of music. And so often, yeah, they'll come up and they'll be like, we're starting a band, maybe we can play at one of your presentations in the future. And I just love to see their enthusiasm. You want to encourage that as much as possible.
Oh, I love that. It's sort of inspiring the next generation of musicians, but also inspiring young people to care about our environment and our planet. I'd like to learn a little bit more about the performances that you do in schools. So I guess we're going to talk a little bit about like what audiences can expect from the performance and like such as, what are you doing in the performance and are there opportunities to participate? Just give us a little, snapshot about how it all goes down.
We really set it up. We have lights, like we're have a full band sound, even if it's two or three musicians. So it feels like the kid, like the lights go off and it feels like they're at a rock concert.
Yeah.
It's like really amazing. And we really start the show like off with a bang with music. So they're all really engaged like right from the beginning. And then start sharing information with them. And like it is in a bit of a conversational way as well. Like we're giving them information they need to know. But then throughout, it's like there's engagement of hearing what people are already maybe doing at their school, or engaging them to actually offer ideas that they could get started. And also asking them how often they do think about climate change and encouraging them to think about it more. And a huge part of the presentation also is showing that people around the world of all ages are getting involved in so many different ways, but just opening their minds to how could I get involved?
Yeah, yeah. We want them to see themselves in this movement and see that it's accessible to them, regardless of what their main interests and skills are. And Avery does such a beautiful job of kind of drawing that out with them and asking them, like, oh, what are you interested in? And finding out about what they're interested in and helping them see that that can be part of the transition towards a more sustainable, thriving world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many kids have so many ideas. Yesterday,
Yeah.
someone said, I want to start a bug club.
Yeah.
One little girl was like, what about just going outside and looking at nature? It's like
Yeah.
all of those things are real things. Or one girl today was like, I go thrift shopping with my sister.
We do. Oh, I'll just quickly say too that we share this thing that we call our flower framework, and it has 6 petals of main areas of action that we kind of break down and say, like, here's what you could do in the here's what's happening about energy. We're in a global energy revolution. Here's what people are doing, and here's how you can make a difference. Here's nature. Nature is our ally. Nature can be restored so easily, and it's part of our, like, we're collaborating with nature to help heal the planet, and we talk about that and we give great examples. So in each of these 6 petals, we can touch on some of these components, and then we share it with the teachers afterwards, along with a whole list of different types of resources. And we always make sure to find some local organizations or local initiatives that the teachers and the students can get involved in right away. And another thing we love to do is, often schools have like an environmental club or a green club or some kind of thing that they've done. So we always offer an opportunity for those students or those teachers to come up and speak to that a little bit and kind of do a shout out and a call out and hopefully get more people involved. Because really, our goal is, yes, we want to uplift the students. We want to give them that sense of active hope, like the hope that comes from taking action, and we want to make it easy for them to get
Like
involved. So it's
obviously
like,
you're giving them a lot of information, but then they get a chance to share what they're doing as well. So that's so cool. It also probably makes them feel very good that they're, you're acknowledging that they are, taking steps and doing things to help the environment.
Yeah.
So I guess Avery, you've talked about this a little bit already, just from a couple little experiences that you shared with the students. But what has it been like to perform in schools? I imagine, or it sounds like the young people are really resonating with your message. If you want to just share a little bit more about that.
It's feels really, really potent because I feel like actually they're not getting that message a lot. And it feels like I know it's so close to my heart. So it just feels like I feel so, it's a lot of work, like the setup and the presentation, but it just feels so fulfilling because they're really listening and they're so engaged by the music. They're like some of them have never been to a concert before. So they're just like, their eyes are just like wide, and they're really engaged, and they are asking questions, and they really want to know. And I wish that someone had actually come to my school when I was there, because I felt concerned about what was happening, but I didn't have actually like any community to talk about it with. So yeah, it feels very potent, I would say, to get to perform in the schools.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah. And then
Um,
the music too, it feels potent because so many of them maybe haven't even found their passion yet. So it feels very cool to like show them at a very young age, like, oh, you can be like really passionate about something, and do it. So that feels really
what
cool.
are you hoping that students will, take from this presentation and sort of do afterwards?
one thing I'll say, like, our primary message is that all action is climate action, or all action is environmental action. So everything we do has an impact, and it's up to us if it hurts the planet or and our future, or if it's benefiting the planet and building a brighter future. But that said, not everyone can make all of these changes. It's essentially sort of a privilege to be able to make choice. So we talk about, it's not all on the individual. It's about coming together collectively and pushing for big system-wide changes to make it easier for everyone to make green choices. So maybe not everyone has to drive an electric car, but we can push for free public transit for youth and for people, and better expansion of our transit systems. We can push for more regenerative agriculture so we have more healthy food for ourselves and also for the planet. So it's really important to us that people don't feel like it's all on them, and that they feel connected to a bigger, more society-wide movement, because we're the ones who are creating the future. It's not already written. It's how our actions play out in the world. That's what the future will be. And I would say that just one more key message is that, like, you'll often hear, like, okay, the youth have to save us, right? Like, it's up to the youth. And it's like, no, it's up to each and every one of us. And in fact, I just turned 50. I've been an environmental activist since I was 14. I had the pleasure of being mentored by my mother and others around me. We have elders in this movement that are doing incredible stuff, and we have little kids of like 5 and 6 that are doing incredible stuff. So we really want to combat the notion that it's on any one particular person's shoulders, but in fact we can all work together, and that we have all the solutions. Like, we don't have to figure it out. All the solutions exist. We just have to implement them. We just have to push for them, and youth can have a really strong voice in that.
I absolutely love that. It's such a good message and such a palatable message because I think, like you said, the issue of climate change is so big and it can seem so overwhelming. So I really love how that you framed that. It's really good.
I think Avery has a really great way of emphasizing with the youth, again, that anything that they're interested in can be a powerful part of the movement. I think you do that so beautifully, Avery, and you also model that really well. So I don't know if you want to speak to that at all, but
Yeah, I really try to get that across because I actually think that the choice, when we do make healthier choices, our life is better. And I really try to say that. It's like, I do say that in the presentation. Often what's healthy for the planet or what's healthy for you goes hand in hand, and vice versa. Um, yeah, and I obviously am so passionate about music, so I think it comes across, and I love getting the ideas from them, like we spoke about earlier, of just like, what can you do? And even chatting with them after when they come up to me, like, oh, you're into this. Like one person today like loves making art. He like has put up signs around his neighborhood. So
nice.
it could be really anything.
It sounds like students are going to leave this presentation with some really good ideas on how to get involved and just feeling really inspired. So thank you so much for doing this, for spreading this message and sharing your art with kids, like, and for coming all the way over to Toronto. Naomi, I know Avery, you're from here, but
Mhm.
we absolutely love to have you. So this is so great. That's all my
Yeah.
questions for today. If there's anything, is there anything you want to add?
I just think it's so great that the work that Prologue is doing, bringing in all these different artists and also really helping artists, get out there and practice their art and get right livelihood from sharing their art. So big appreciation to Prologue for making this possible and supporting teachers in bringing these pieces in, because we also really appreciate teachers. We know that they work so hard, and they don't always have the capacity to bring all this information in. So we're really happy to get to kind of lift them up and support them as well.
Yeah. I also want to say thank you because what Naomi said, it's like it feels like such a privilege to get to go and like share my art and connect with kids that I also wouldn't have connection with. And it's like I wish I could perform more often to that age group.
Yeah.
Because like I wish I had more people sharing their passion and seeing what's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today again, and for doing this podcast. And I guess I'll just end with another Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day, everybody.
I got them cheering today. We
Yeah.
are unstoppable and that world is possible.
Yes, we are unstoppable. Another world is possible.